Welcome to Life Brand Management with your girl BC Starks, aka Brittany. Hey, I'm back with episode 10 before the end of 2022, y'all. I'm on a roll. Listen, I wanted to hop on today because, we're coming upon the end of the year, and as per usual, this is the time of year when everybody gets into their resolutions and sets new goals and intentions for the year. And I just wanted to share something that I found helpful for myself. In addition to goal setting, what I like to focus on instead of just goals are actual routines. The reason I find this more helpful than just goal setting is because literally you get to a goal by having routines in place, right? Like if you set up a routine for yourself, like a daily routine of things that are just absolute musts throughout your day, right? And you actually find yourself sticking to it, or challenge yourself to be disciplined enough to stick to it and be consistent with it. What you'll find is that you will obtain your goal a hell of a lot sooner than if you did not have routines in place, right? And sometimes those routines don't even have to be necessarily connected to the goal, but they just keep you focused. They keep you feeling hopeful or motivated, or, just keep you on the path of whatever your goal is. So say like you set a goal to hit a certain number financially in your business, right? But aside from the goal of hitting that, right, you're going to have routines in place. And some of those routines can include things that are related to your business. Like maybe you're going to make sure that you don't close out the day without making at least two or three, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number, 3 major sales per day, right? Okay, so that's directly connected to your goal. That's a part of your routine. You're going to make sure every day, Monday through Friday, or if you're an entrepreneur, Sunday through Sunday, that you're not going to close out the day without hitting that part of your goal, like that routine. Okay, great. But what about your mental? What about your emotional? What about your physical? What about, things that you need to do to make sure you're focused, right? To make sure that you maintain some sort of balance, right? Or to make sure that you, regardless of what could come up in your life, that you have something that's stabilized that you can count on, right? And I think we undervalue the importance of routines because we don't realize how significant of a role they can play when you have the messed up days, when you have the stressful days, when you have the days that can be overwhelming. A routine that you can trust, your trusty dusty routine, will get you through those days. For example, I've started doing a routine of where I would wake up early in the morning, maybe 5, sometimes 4 o'clock, sometimes even 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would do a meditation. And I started doing that because of my studies and my practice of learning that those hours of the morning help you. They tend to be more potent for being able to connect energetically with the divine. And also you have melatonin and serotonin that are at high levels. And so it just helps you connect better when you're meditating in the wee hours of the morning. You guys can look this up. I am not a scientist on it. I just learned about it and I found it to be true for me. So I'll wake up, I'll meditate for an hour, maybe 2 hours. And that may be a combination of multiple things. So it could be maybe a 45-minute meditation mixed with a 20-minute affirmation meditation mixed with another, heart-centered meditation. Each meditation will have its own focus, right? That's in the morning. Then I'll probably journal. I'll write some things. I usually do if you guys listen to my first, I think it was the first or second episode of this podcast this season, is I talk about my journaling routine, and you can learn more about that from that podcast. So I'll journal. Then I'll get up and I'll probably, if I don't do a workout early in the morning, I definitely get to a workout before the end of the day. So I'll usually work out either before or after work. So I'll meditate, I'll journal. I start my work day because I do have a 9 to 5 at this time. So I'll start my work day. And then maybe for my break in between my 9 to 5, I'll go for a walk because I work remotely. So I tend to have a little bit more of a flexibility. So I might go for a walk, or I might go for a midday stroll, right, in my neighborhood. Something quick, nothing crazy. I just like to be out in nature, breathe the fresh air, and then have me some lunch. And then, again, if I don't work out early morning, after the second half of work, I'll go and I'll work out, right? And then before the end of the day, I'll do something towards my purpose, my passion, such as this podcast, or such as something creative related to my course or my online business, right? And those are my routines that do not change regardless of what's happening. Right? So sometimes life happens and you might get thrown off and you might miss a day of workouts, or you might oversleep and you miss your meditation. I mean, life is life, right? It's not about perfection. It's about getting back up and getting back on routine whenever you fall off. But what I've come to find is that if you set routines in place, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to actually hit goals. So I honestly believe, because I had certain routines in place, there was a period of time where I was not really focused on my business, or my purpose business, my life brand management. I was not really focused on it as much. And, again, I've spoke about it in another podcast, the whole procrastination thing and what was behind it. But if it were not for my routines, I do not know that I would have started this podcast last month. I do not know that I would have run into a friend who actually inspired me to start the podcast, which then in turn inspired me to go ahead and finish my course and then launch it before the end of the year. All of this happened in a very short amount of time. So between November and now towards the end of December, less than 2 months, I did 2 major things for my purpose business, right? My purpose passion business, whatever you want to call it, life brand management. I did 2 major things towards that had been put off for a very long time. I talked about how long it was in a previous podcast. And listen, I kid you not, it had to be for my routines, right? The routines that sustain me, the routines that help me balance my mental, emotional, spiritual, right? They keep me centered. They, when I work out, working out for me is not just, it's not really even about weight management or anything like that. I never really had an issue with, being overweight. I did gain some weight during the pandemic, but because for me, working out is more so about managing my mental health as well. I do feel better when I work out. I do feel better when I push myself to a new personal goal, when it comes to like my physique. So yes, like it's a balance type thing for me. I try to do things to balance my mind, body, and soul. That's also the reason why I journal. So having those routines in place really helped me to stabilize a lot in just my emotional state. Right? Because again, life is happening day to day. Like 2022 was a tough year for a lot of people. And then a lot of people still haven't fully recovered from like things that have happened during the pandemic. We could talk about it. Like a lot of people, experienced a very traumatic period during the pandemic, being isolated, relationships changing, losing people. So much, right? Financial crisis, losing jobs for multiple months at a time, some people more than a year, and bouncing back from that, or just having to, piece things together and not really having the mental, emotional support, right? Like, so a lot of people have struggled with, and I know personally, I lost a lot of family members, so I had to definitely go through therapy for just processing some of that trauma of like losing people. And I think, I know personally for me, that triggered a lot of anxiety, and it triggered a lot of, fear of loss, right? So I really value relationships, and I value when I care about people, and I value just the people that I'm connected to. And so I don't, I have this thing about that, just making sure that I love on the people that I love on. And so for me, like, having routines that keep me balanced, even when life happens, is very helpful. And so I encourage everyone who's listening to this podcast that as you embark on your intentions for 2023, your resolutions for 2023, we all get caught up in the hype of New Year's resolutions, but start where you are, and don't overwhelm yourself, right? Like, you don't have to have no major goal to lose 100 pounds in 2023 or at the top of the year in 3 months or whatever the case may be, especially with this social media culture where we just love to post everything, right? We love to post our wins, and there's nothing wrong with it, but just don't get caught up so much in the hype that you lose yourself, right? So for me, I just really encourage you to have routines in place, because those routines are really going to be the backbone that you need as life happens in between all the goals that you're setting. Because life is life, right? There's parts of it that's very unpredictable and can sometimes catch you off guard. And you still have to process. You still have to get up every day. You still have to function. And you still have to wear the titles that you wear in this reality. And you still have to keep things together in the ways that you're responsible for. So, have your routines that'll be a great buffer and a great companion to whatever goals you set. Okay? And do it in a way that aligns with who you truly are. Like, for me, I like to work out, right? Working out is not drudgery to me. Like, going to the gym is not drudgery to me. If that is drudgery to you, then find a way to be physical without having to go to the gym. Like, if it's walking in your neighborhood, you live in a decent enough neighborhood, or you have a park somewhere in your neighborhood where you can walk around the block a couple times, keep it simple and keep it simplified in a way that fits your lifestyle where you are right now. Don't do anything that's going to stretch you above and beyond, where now you're getting membership at a gym that's like 5 miles away from your house. Like, don't do that, because you're not going to stick to that goal. That's not even going to be sustainable, because you're going to find an excuse somewhere along the way, maybe even early on, or something's going to come up where you cannot drive 5 miles from your house. Therefore, you cannot go to the gym. Therefore, you're probably going to talk yourself out of working out. Keep it very simple. For me, when I work out, like I said, I walk around my neighborhood. My gym is literally a block away. I can walk to the gym in less than like 10 minutes, like maybe 5 minutes. It takes me less than maybe 5 minutes max to get from my house to the gym. And if I walk really quickly, it's probably less than that. Or if I jog, it's even less than that. So there's nothing that is a barrier to me getting to my routine. I can pull my journal out of my drawer, which is in my nightstand right next to my bed. So that's not a barrier. That's super easy. When it comes to meditating, I can set my alarm and try not to hit the snooze button too many times to make sure that I actually wake up and I already have all my meditations on a playlist on my YouTube, on my personal YouTube, where I can just click through as soon as my eyes open. As soon as I feel consciousness in my body and I know that alarm is going off, I just slide myself up and I just sit up straight and I flip up either my cell phone, which is on my nightstand, or I grab my laptop out of the drawer, my nightstand drawer, and I'll just make sure that I do my meditation, right? So again, all of the things that I put as my routine are things that are feasible for me. And maybe another part of my routine is to make sure I drink a certain amount of water a day. Well, if I'm going to have water in my fridge. I'm going to make whatever my routine is going to be easy going, that it fits into my lifestyle, that it's not stretching me above and beyond, and that it's reasonable for me to do even on a bad day. Even on a day where I feel like I don't have a whole lot of energy, I can close my eyes and meditate. Even on a bad day where I feel like I don't have a lot of time, I can write a 2-minute entry in my journal, 5 to 10 things that I'm grateful for. Even on a day where I don't feel super energetic to work out, I can walk around the block. That takes 10, 15, 20 minutes. Listen, I try not to give myself room for excuses, because that is the thing that keeps you on track. Don't make excuses for yourself. Make your routines simple enough that you can stick to them. And those are going to be the things that help you sustain yourself to get to your goals. So had I not had my routines in place, I truly believe that I probably would not have moved as quickly as I did when I finally made the decision to go forth with my goal. Timing aligned, circumstances aligned, my consciousness and awareness and my journey aligned, and I just decided to go forth. And because I had these routines in place that really fuel me, meditating keeps me centered mentally, emotionally. It keeps me in a space of open possibility and believing in infinite potentials for success, not just failure. I don't focus on what if I don't get this and this and that, or what if this and that happens. I focus on, but what if I fly? What if I hit $1 million or $100,000 in the first week of launching? Like, what if I try to argue for my strengths. That's my thing. Don't argue for your limitations, argue for your strengths. Motivate yourself in a way that when those doubtful thoughts come up, you tell yourself the opposite and you find a reason that backs that up. And the more you do that, the more you'll get in alignment to actually do the things you need to do. So I just wanted to share that quick tip. It wasn't that quick. We 16, 17 minutes in. But I wanted to share that tip because I think that can really help you to develop daily routines. Again, my routine list is I got about 8 things on it, but I stick to about 5 religiously. And that is, even if I don't get up at early in the morning to meditate, I'm going to meditate throughout it. I'm not going to skip a day of meditation. Even if I don't, write a whole lot, I'm not going to skip journaling at some point. Even if I don't exercise every day, I'm not going to skip walking around the block or doing something physical. Even if I don't, drink a gallon of water, I'm going to drink some water. You know what I'm saying? And these are the things that sustain me daily. Okay. So that's all I wanted to share. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, if you want some help with your daily routines, I do have some tools on my website, bcstarkspr.com. If you click shop, you'll be taken to my Vision Book Journal store, where I do have some digital planner printables. And so I have a weekly planner, I have a daily planner, and I have a monthly planner. And if you're somebody who's super anal and you like to write things down and be very organized, these are going to help you in your routines and your goal setting. So you can make time to get things done. So my things to do list is very cool. It lets you set 3 goals for the day, or write out your list of things that you plan to do as your routine. And then it has little cute boxes that you can just check off after you scratch off each routine. It has sections where you can write some little notes. You can document your meals and document the date. And then I also have the weekly, where maybe you want to zoom out a little bit and you want to plan out your week. You can do that as well. And then, of course, the monthly, they are undated monthly calendars. So they only have the month listed, which means that you can use them for forever, right? You can just write in the dates, and then you can use them for as long as you like to. They are printables. They are available on my site for $19.99 for the entire pack. You get all 3, and they are printables and digital, so you can print them out or you can use them on an iPad. And that is a tool that I created that I actually use myself. They help me with my daily routines, my monthly and my weekly routines. And they're super cute, y'all. You got to check it out. Again, visit my website, bcstarkspr.com, click shop, and you will see all that I have to offer to help you stay on track too. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's podcast. I hope you took something from it. And if you did enjoy, go ahead and support my podcast. And I would be so graciously grateful. Thank you. Peace out. Till next time.